I'm Gary, aka the Gare Bear, and welcome to the first installment of my show, the Gare Bear Review. Today I will be going over Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters, as you can clearly see behind me. So let's get into it. It's a fairy tale that we all know to love as a kid. We all know the story. Two kids go into the woods, and they find a house made out of candy and gingerbread. But in this story, it was interesting because there's no trail of breadcrumbs to lead them back. Basically the first thing you see is the father abandoning these two into the woods, and then they happen to find the house, which I found was interesting the way this. So it kind of starts off with a different twist. Now, because it's a Brother Grimm version of the story, it it's a bigger twist, which made it a whole lot better. If you don't know who the Brothers Grimm are, you should look them up. Basically, every fairy tale you know that you've probably heard as a child, it will basically completely fuck you up. They're completely different stories, and they're just fantastic if you're into that sort of thing. Actually, if you watch Once Upon a Time on TV, the TV show, it actually kind of gives that sort of feel to it, except it's a little more fantasy and a little more family oriented. Let's take that, and with the Brothers Grimm twist, it's basically more death, and the hero sometimes the heroes don't live, which I love. Now, since it's that, it just made it completely badassery. The whole movie was just completely like, wait, is that not a word? You fucking serious? Well, fucking make it a word. It was completely. I loved every second of it. Now, what I found to be my favorite part of the film was the realism. Now, because they ate uh, candy and gingerbread a lot as a kid because the witch forced them, I found it hilarious because in this version they gave Hansel, whatever the fuck you pronounce it, he has diabetes like fucking Wilford Brimley. I got diabetes. It was hilarious, and you can see it in the film. I mean, maybe the 18th century, but you can clearly see he's giving himself insulin shots. And it goes out through the whole film. I loved it. It was a great it was a great call for it because it's realistic. It's realistic. Like, if you didn't tell me that you would, if you ate that shit as a kid, you would have diabetes now as an adult. It was great. What also was great was that they got beat to a pulp. In a real fight, both parties will get knocked the shit around. They'll be thrown into walls. They'll be thrown through tables. Maybe a fork in the leg. That's what this film had. The heroes of this film, Hansel and Gretel, the heroes get thrown around like fucking rag dolls. I mean, they'll be thrown across like fields into buildings. It was complete chaos, which I love. There's this one part where Renner rolls in, and immediately as he like gets his focus, he gets slammed with a frying pan. He just rolls in all half cocked and shit, and just goes a whack. It was hilarious. It just made me laugh, and you probably will too. It was quite a funny scene. Um, Now, on the other spectrum of this movie, you had the visual effects. Now, you obviously needed it because it's a fantasy film, and so you need it for the magic and the witching and the witches and stuff. So it wasn't too grainy. It didn't look fake. Like, if it when it went close to the screen, it it wasn't too pixelated or anything. It was just a good overall, a good job by the visual effects department. Not at any point did I wanted to or did say, I don't believe this, or you gotta be kidding me, like, why would you do that? The transitioning from real to the witch face was fluent, I would say. No way did I say it wasn't real. It was just a good overall work there. Now the gore factor, now it's a rated R film with a Brothers Grimm twist, so the gore factor in this film was beyond. There's lots of blood, lots of kill shots, and split apart bodies. Yes, you heard me correct. Split apart bodies. There's a scene where they wrap piano wire around trees, witches go through them and just break up into 1,000 pieces. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful scene, and every kill had me go ooh, or like holy shit. Like, not a lot of films do that. With kills anymore, especially only the like Eli Roth type stuff, or like like Saw type stuff. Those are the only type of films where it'll make you cringe, or like go, holy shit, I can't believe they're actually putting this on screen. Like stuff like that. I mean, not completely like that, but it was like from the beginning to the middle of that. It was just a good jet. It was a good point where like it's not too crazy, but it was crazy enough to work, in a fairy tale film. Now the weapons are, so as you can clearly see behind me. I mean, look at that. I want that fucking gun that Renner has. I mean, that could blow through a fucking metal door. And Arton's crossbow splits into two and shoots both ways. I believe in front too. They didn't really show it, but the arsenal is just so fucking ridiculous. I mean, I wish, if you ever watched Supernatural on the CW11 with Jared Padalecki and Jensen Ackles, I wish these guys had these fucking guns. And Hansel and Gretel, these guys are so like past their prime. They have fucking like tasers and shit already, and like fucking CD players and shit. It was completely out of the realm. It was great. I love seeing it. And they had this fold out gun. I was like, dude, can I have that? It was completely set up in like bricks, and then Renner just goes and it just completes out into a gun. It was great. Now, going to the casting. Now these two, Renner and Arton, were had great chemistry with each other. I loved them both together. They worked well as brother and sister. I didn't have a problem with them seeing them that way. You had Famke Jensen from X-Men, who was great as the main bad witch. She was great. Now there's two people in here that you probably well, one you will know and one you won't know, because she's a U.S. star. She mostly does European stuff. Her name is Phila Vital. Is that how you say it? No? Whatever. She's a European star. Hopefully she'll get more stuff. And Thomas Mann, from Fun Size and Project X, you probably know him if you've seen him. All were great. Were great in their respective roles. I loved every second of it. The story I would give a B plus. Action was a B plus. The direction was a B, and the visuality of the film I give a B plus. They could have done a lot more with it. I did enjoy the film, so I definitely highly recommend it, especially if you're into that fairy tale stuff. So I would definitely go see it, especially in 3D. I heard the 3D was great. I didn't see it, but I heard some great things about it. Now the next time on the Gare Bear review, I'll be going over movie 43, and the next one I'll also be doing Parker with Jason Statham. So stay tuned.